What's good, everybody? We got Garchomp, okay? If you are new here and you just happen to click on this video because I think Garchomp is a pretty damn popular Pokemon, definitely make sure you check out the description below. There is a link to the very same Google Sheet that I use in literally all my videos, and most importantly, you can check out all the other buffs and changes, and most importantly, yes, I'm saying most twice because this is super important, is to check out this little move sheet here on the bottom tab. It's a little bit zoomed out on this video because it's a 5-stage line with the Mega included. But yeah, you can see all of these moves, buffs, and changes, and definitely check that out because every move is buffed or changed in this hack, and there are 130 plus custom new moves, and all these moves have new effects and stuff. So yeah, that's super important. Definitely give that a look. But with that being said, Garchomp, every Pokemon in this hack is buffed to a pretty significant degree just because of all the power creep, and I wanted to even the level the playing field out for all the Pokemon and make them all good and viable and fun to use. So Garchomp is hurt by the fact that every Pokemon has priority now. That goes for any fast, frail. I mean, Garchomp is not frail at all, but fast offensive Pokemon. You know, they are hurt a little bit by the fact that every Pokemon can technically have priority for the most part. Not always, but basically every Pokemon has priority. And that includes stuff like Ice Shard and Frost Flurry and Pixie Dust and Fairy Blow and all these moves that are going to hit Garchomp super effectively. But regardless, he's still a menace, and because of all this power creep, I did have to, funnily enough, buff Garchomp, specifically Mega Garchomp, which was infamously worse than base Garchomp. However, the whole line has a lot of fun new tools to play with because I don't want to skimp on any Pokemon just because it's already good, because even if it was already good, it's probably still going to need a little bit of a buff in the grand scheme of this hack and the power levels in this hack. So, they do retain Rough Skin. That's a great ability. You do have access to Sediment, which is a reliable recovery move that is a rock type or ground type version of a cover that heals you by 2/3 under sand, which grows great with one of Mega Garchomp's abilities in Sand Rush, but it's just nice to have that as a healing move in general, and that makes, you know, bulkier Garchomp sets viable. Keep in mind, in this ROM hack, you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can and should be switching between your abilities depending on the situation, and you have access to infinite EV training, so you can easily just switch your EVs around. So for one boss fight, you'll run max HP, max physical defense. Next boss fight, max speed, max attack. Next boss fight, max def, max speed, whatever, you know, random, you know, next fight, you only run 80 speed EVs to outspeed one specific Pokemon, you know, whatever it is. You can really go to town with it. It's kind of like Draft League in that way, but if you have played that, just to compare it to people who don't do Nuzlocke and aren't experienced with that kind of strategy. But regardless, yeah, it's super sick. Garchomp, I mean, he's a great Pokemon. He is faster, again, because of the speed tier creep. Like, just the speed creep in general in this game is pretty crazy. The speed tiers are a lot. I mean, there's also a lot of slower Pokemon, but there's also a lot of very fast Pokemon in this hack. So as you can see here, like, if I kept Garchomp at 102, he would be outsped by a lot of things that he should not be outsped by, realistically speaking. So, yeah, he is base 112, which is an incredible speed tier. Of course, he is very strong. He has that great dual typing. We all know what Garchomp does, okay? So not only do you have Rough Skin, but then you also have access to Reckless, which is pretty cool. The pre-evolutions do have Strong Jaw, which works for Psychic Fangs, Crunch, and Jagged Fangs, turning those into 128 base power coverage moves, and then Fire Fang, Thunder Fang, and Poison Fang, turning those into 113 base power coverage moves. So those are all great options with Strong Jaw, and again, you have that ability capsule to switch between. And 5, can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 7 of those fighting moves are TMs, so that's really nice. You know, just to teach them whenever you need. But with that being said, that's really, I'm not going to dwell on base Garchomp too much. Gibble is stronger just because, you know, you're using it up to level 25. All the pseudos have consistent level evolutions. And there also are tons of new pseudo legendaries in this hack, like tons of them. Probably almost a dozen by the end of it, if I had to guess. And there's also other Pokemon called semi-pseudos, which are like size 75 base total mons. But anyways, look, the point is, another thing is base stat total isn't that important, especially in a hack like this where I put consideration to all the Pokemon. Like, it's not as big of a deal. But, you know, yeah, Reckless is very cool. Reckless works with tons of new recoil moves that I added and gave to him. So you have Stab with Dragon Hammer, and then at level 70 you have Headlong Rush, which is 150 base power. Again, I just implore you to check out the description below and look at all the move buffs for yourself, because I'm not going to dwell on all these changes too much. But what I will say for like tankier sets, Breaking Swipe is incredible, because Breaking Swipe is 70 base power and drops the opponent's attacking stats by 1, excuse me, but both of their attacking stats. So that's really great on like Sediment, bulky, or Rough Skin sets with Rocky Helmet. And then you of course also have Parting Shot, which is great, Taunt, and other good utility moves like that. So that's all really fun to use. Man, they have so much fun stuff. But yeah, Reckless moves, they have Dragon Hammer, which is 110 base power. They have Wild Charge, Takedown, and Rock Climb, which are also 110 base power recoil moves, which also deal less recoil and have good additional effects and stuff. And then you have Dive Bomb, which is flying type high jump kick. And then you have coverage with Head Smash, which is a much stronger version of Rock Climb that drops your defensive stats and is recoil 150 base power. And then the same exact thing, which is Headlong Rush, but it's of course ground stab. And Headlong Rush is also incredible because it's boosted by Tough Claws on Mega Garchomp. So yes, I finally made Mega Garchomp no longer outclassed by Base Garchomp. Mega Garchomp is totally different. Base Garchomp is still faster, and he does have different options with Reckless and Rough Skin, but Mega Garchomp has Sand Rush with 102 base speed. Keep in mind the Megas in attack are available the pseudo Megas specifically, excuse me. So Megas like Aggron, Metagross, Salamence, Garchomp, Tyranitar, those types of Megas will not be available until at the earliest when you get the Pony Islands and Seafolk, and at the latest, the Pokemon League, Pokemon Center. So they will be very late in the game. Not to say that Garchomp is a bad Pokemon by any means. We all know it's great. And he did lose a little bit of Spadef just for balancing reasons, because I didn't want to go full -10 special attack on base Garchomp, because like that's just like he doesn't need that, it's doing too much. But with Mega Garchomp, he can -20 special attack. They dumped way too many points in special attack for him. They were definitely afraid of making him overpowered, which I can respect for a real game with a competitive metagame. But this is not a competitive metagame. This is in-game balance, so that I can kind of go crazy with the buffs. Hence why Mega Garchomp is an absolute beast. He does with Tough Claws. He is stronger than Life Orb Garchomp. Finally, he's not outclassed by him. Although Tough Claws sets are a little bit slower than Garchomp, so you still have that little bit of dichotomy there. But then Sand Rush sets are obviously incredibly fast. And the beautiful thing about Sand Rush is you can actually run max HP and max attack, or max defense and max attack, or whatever you want to do, and you can still outspeed basically everything in a hack, because Choice Scarp is very uncommon on AI because the AI doesn't know how to switch out. They don't know how to take advantage of that. And yes, I did give him Dragon Dance. It's OP, but like it's fucking Garchomp, and the power levels in attack are so insane. And there's tons of anti-setup stuff. Not only is there priority on like every team, with First Impression being on like every Pokemon, and all kinds of other really powerful priority moves that will deal with Garchomp easier. Although honestly, he is pretty bulky, so he's not that susceptible to stuff like First Impression, unless it's Ruthless boosted or super strong or stab or something. But like a non-stab First Impression, he'll eat that for sure. With like even probably no investment because of just his natural bulk. But that's Garchomp for you. I don't know what else to tell you about him, but I don't know. Dragon Dance is come on, it's fun. It's nothing too overpowered. There's a lot of anti-setup stuff. For example, Taunt is on a lot of Pokemon. The environment in general is relatively hostile to sweeping Pokemon. Just to make it a little bit less free to just click buttons and win the game. There's a lot of stuff like Priority Roar and Whirlwind, and which are limited PP, of course. But then you have stuff like Heart Swap, which is priority, and there's tons of new unaware Pokemon. So yeah, all kinds of stuff to Prankster, all kinds of stuff to take advantage of setup sweepers and kind of shut them down. But he's still a menace, and obviously for some boss fights you could totally cheese Dragon Dance or Bulk Up or Swords Dance if you really wanted to. Swords Dance specifically, or Bulk Up specifically, being crazy under Sand Rush with Sediment for healing. Man, it's fucking crazy. I love it. It's fun. It's crazy. It's overpowered a little bit, but everything in the sack is, you could argue, is overpowered, and it'll all eventually balance out because of all the new bulky stuff and all the new utility moves, Parting Shot as a TM, and all this really fun stuff that you can take advantage of. Not to mention, as the player, you will always have the advantage of being able to prepare beforehand and switch around your EVs and your items and your abilities, which is definitely something that you should be abusing. Or you can just play for fun and have fun, but it's up to you. But if you want to get the most out of your Pokemon, you should definitely be using more strategic. You should have a more strategic approach. Oh my goodness, holy shit, strategic approach. There we go, to your team building and to your sets on your Pokemon. But yeah, that's Garchomp. Great Pokemon. Again, 170 attack with Tough Claws is fucking crazy. It fits him very well. Sand Rush also fits. He already had Sand Force. And then Reckless, I think, fits Garchomp pretty well, and it's nothing overpowered, because I would be more worried about base Garchomp being OP, purely because he is available for much longer in the game, and also he doesn't take up your Mega slot, while Mega Garchomp does. There's tons of really awesome and fun Megas. And again, keep in mind, the priority stuff will keep him in check for sure. Not to mention, there's so many bulky Pokemon, so many crazy abilities that can really take advantage of Garchomp. So yeah, it's just really fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it didn't go over 10 minutes, because I am trying to keep these a little bit shorter. If you did enjoy this and you want to check out the other Pokemon buffs that on Pokemon that actually needed the buffs, definitely give that a look on the Google Sheet. Again, I implore you to check out the move buffs. There's also tons of other useful sheets on the bottom here that you can check out. And then of course you can watch my other videos if you are if you want to do that as well. If you listen this far into the video, though, definitely make sure you subscribe. I hit 900 subs recently, so thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate it so much. And I'm trying to hit 1K next, so help me get to that goal. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be back for more Sinnoh Pokemon.